What was your favorite childhood game? Cece Cheney here, and today we're chatting all about fun games. It's Friday, and I thought we'd have a little fun now. I am super curious. What games did you love playing when you were growing up? I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the holiday season rolling in or what, but I have really been in sort of that nostalgia space, right? And I have all these fun memories of playing games, when I was a kid. And as I got older, my absolute favorite around Christmas time was Taboo. Like, I would crush it at Taboo. All the family would come over, we'd whip out the game, and my team would win. Right? Like, that was so much fun. So, last weekend, Jason and I went to a lake here in Columbia with some of our friends, and we saw a family playing their version of a game that my cousins and I always played growing up, from as young as I can remember. They called it Stop, when we were kids, we called it Boy, Girl, Animal, Place, Thing, Total. Which is basically our version of Categories, I want to say is the name of the game. But basically, a sheet of paper and a pencil and your brain was all you needed. And you can just absolutely have so much fun. And I have always sort of been competitive. I like to win. And so it was really fun seeing this family like playing their version of a game that I played growing up. So Jason and I have been sort of strolling down memory lane, and then we decided to do something a little crazy. So we were at the mall earlier this week, and we were looking down the toys game aisle, and we happened across Monopoly, right? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I never liked Monopoly growing up. I always thought it was like really, really long and drawn out, and people took it way too seriously. It's like playing dominoes or spades with a black family. Right? Like, it's not something that I ever enjoy doing. Like, I do not want to play. I'm a competitive person and I like to play certain games, but there's some games people take really seriously. And Monopoly was like that kind of game for me, right? Like, let me know your experience. Is that a game that you used to love? But, anyways, we actually heard Robert Kiyosaki, that's the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. You've heard of him. He was doing a podcast. He was talking about how his rich dad taught him these like business principles and these money principles using Monopoly, right? So he learned concepts about buying real estate and money management from playing. And so we thought, you know what? Let's do that. Let's play Monopoly, but let's play it a little bit with that thought process in mind. What could happen? Now here's the rub. Here's where things went left. We live in Latin America. We live in South America, which means that when you go down the store aisle, when you go down the toy aisle, the games are not in English; they are in Spanish, right? And you know that I do not speak Spanish. Now, I have been doing my Duolingo. I'm on like a 20 something day streak. So, like, hey, I'm trying. Um, but I have to be honest with you. Like, we got the electronic banking version instead. So this one, like, you have a debit card that you use for all your payments, and it tracks everything, which is really cool. But that first attempt at Spanish Monopoly, like, we fumbled. Like, we did not know what we were doing. Like, we had to pull out, like, I had, like, Jason's phone out. He's got the Google Translate app, where you can point at the card and it translates the text, right? So we were, like, trying to translate the text, like, what am I doing here? Oh, I just lost $50 on renovations on all my properties. Like, but we had to translate because I had no idea what it was saying, right? So it was a hot mess. It was a hot mess. I could not figure out why my rent was going up on some of my properties and why it was going down on some of my properties. It felt like so freaking random. It was literally a mess. So we went online and watched the instructions first in Spanish. We watched to understand how things were supposed to work. We weren't even using our debit cards right at certain points, right? But then we watched the instructions in English, and we were like, oh, we got so much wrong. We were not doing that right. So we tried again. And it got better. And then we tried again and it got better. And last night we had what I would call our first real game. Like our first real attempt understanding the concepts. At this point, we looked at the cards so many times we understood what the cards were saying. We didn't have to use the app. So we knew what we were doing. And what we did was we started talking through some of our buying decisions, which is really different. I have never played Monopoly in a serious way that way, where it's like, okay, I'm going to buy this property because of X, Y, and Z. Like, I never cared enough, if I'm being honest, right? But it was so much fun and like a really good learning lesson, like surprisingly so. So I told hubby that like I love playing games. Like I love getting in that competitive spirit. I love winning. Like I love to win. So I told hubby for Christmas, I want us to get more board games. Like let's get some more fun things that we can do. Now most of the time it's going to be the two of us, right? Because we speak English. And my closest friend in Colombia is moving back to the U.S. Oh, I'm so sad. Anyways, that's not besides the point. So I said, okay, what games are we going to get? I decided to go ahead and add Robert Kiyosaki's board game, I believe it's called Cash Flow, to my Amazon wish list for hubby to get for me for Christmas. Because that one is supposed to be really, really good. And I want to whoop hubby's butt on that one too. And if you've got some ideas for games that we could play, especially if they have some additional learning capacities, like let me know. Any sort of two-player games that you recommend, go ahead, shoot me a message and let me know. And let me know what your favorite game was in your childhood. All right, ciao.